Good. We saw two very exciting games. If you didn't see them, go back and see them. They're worth the time. But now it's 1-1. Luca against Fabian. Jeskai combo control against blue-red aggro control-ish, maybe. Luca's going to start again. And yeah, it's been so interesting. The advantages are so tiny. Every play matters. We saw a lot of interesting decisions, and you can do so much by just assessing your hand and your opponent differently. So beautiful. So we see Luca having a hand of two lands, a few selection spells, a lightning angel. That's a throwback to 1999 or something, maybe 2001. And we see Fabian having only mountains. Fabian has to, go back. What do you think of Luca's hand?
Looks good enough. It has pieces that can set up his hand for later. He can fetch his blue-red land. It has no basics, so he's opening himself up to that, and Remand doesn't solve the problem. It just puts it back for later. But he has the aggression, he has interaction, he has hand sculpting. So I would say it's good enough to keep it.
Also, the mystical two-draw opportunity to get about everything you ever want. You can get card draw, removal, counter spells. It's just your toolbox. I'm not sure if Luca runs any miracles, but it's like all of the cards he plays are so cheap anyway. Like getting a treasure cruise is just such a beautiful interaction. For 2 mana, you draw 3 cards and lose 1.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you see, Fabian keeps Preordain, Ponder, 2 lands, Protection Probe, Rebelmaster. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong early hand.
Do you think that Impulse is a card that's still good enough for Highlander?
I have my doubts about it. Maybe if he thinks that in those blue-red decks, you are sometimes really desperate for the hosers, and there's only a limited number you can play, or sometimes you need a special card and they have no real tutoring. The creatures are not that impressive on their own. So sometimes you have to dig, but Impulse is probably not a strong card right now.
Yeah, of course, Fabian started the game because he lost the last one. He was island into Ponder, finding exactly the right card he needed. He found the Mana Leak, which has a good interaction on turn 2, also backed up by the Impulse if in case nothing happens. So both players pondered their deck and decided to draw a reasonable card. Chain of Vapor, it looks a bit empty, the hand from Luca, you have to say. Like, Remind is a cool interaction, but not much to put pressure on. We see Ponder here now on Snapcaster and 2 lands.
Yeah, so all Luca's hand does right now is prolong the game and maybe drop a Lightning Angel. But then what are you doing after that? Or even leading up to that?
Right now, Lightning Angel is the king of the match. Like, the Rebel Master is certainly not big enough. If you maybe can delay the Rebel Master for a turn with the Remand, that's going to be pretty potent.
Yeah, 4 toughness is a lot in this matchup. It puts you out of range of most removals.
Yeah, as we see, most of the cards that deal damage did like 2 or 3. Of course, you can divide them, but that doesn't kill a Lightning Angel, and that can be relevant. Lightning Angel also really need, because of the Vigilance, to do what? To protect against the Monarch stealing opponent.
Oh, true, that's true, yeah. Maybe we see it again this game. It was really interesting.
Okay, Impulse here because of no play. Certainly not getting remanded. We see Repeal to Islands and a Jace, which is probably going to be a Jace. Let's see. He can Ah,
The island. I was going to say that with just one more land in hand, he's in this control match. He's threatening to run out of mana sources
mhm.
to win a counter war or anything, and just dropping a chase against the blue opponent on an empty board is. I think you said it earlier. It sets you up for a bad backswing, a bad turn where your opponent can resolve good spells.
So Jace unfortunately got neglected, and Gitaxian Pros is assessing the situation. Yeah, remand, some bounce spells, a tutor, Snapcaster. It looks like that's going to be one hell of a match. So now, seeing all those cards, you have to assess the situation. As we know right now, we see everything Fabian sees. The whole information is laid out. What are we doing? We see.
Tough.
We
Does
know
he?
that a lot of cards cost 2. That's good to know.
Yes, but does he pull the counter, the remand with his Rebel Master,
I would assume so.
or does
Rem-
he? Yeah, or does he wait for next turn when he can play the spell snare to hit it?
I think I would wait a turn. That's the opponent is remanding it anyway, and this
Yeah.
way you're kind of denying your opponent the mana for this turn.
Yeah, because you're on the play, there's you go to 4 mana before your opponent does. So no, does he really want to do it next turn? Because then Luca can play the Lightning Angel on the return.
Hmm.
So he probably has to wait even more turns.
Yeah, and Lightning Angel deals with the Rebel Master quite nicely. Okay, Sulfur Elemental. Yeah, he does it. He waits. He says, no, I
Well,
cannot.
sculpting his hand and waiting did him really good in the first game. So and putting Jace back also was really good in the first game. So he does it all over.
Ooh, that's a Splinter Twin. That's a nice combo to have because you have a lot of creatures that can get the Splinter Twin. So only one piece away from doing the combo.
Yes, and you have a certain amount of redundancy in your combo in your other combo pieces. You have two creatures that two cards that can copy and win, and you have like three or is it even more? Village Bell Ringer, Pestermite, and Deceiver Exarch
Yeah.
to finish the other half of the combo.
And here, of course, the Sulfur Elemental helps to not play the Rubber Master because it's just a very neat play to play anyway.
Yeah, it cannot be countered, and so he just gets a free attacker. He knows that Luca has no removal.
Attack for 3. Probably this spell snare has kind of this netcaster written all over on it.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the prime targets of spell snare, especially in those long matchups where your opponent is going to play anything that costs 2. So spell snare is a very, very cool card. It looks narrow, but in the end, it's very important against those aggressive stacks, especially when you're on the draw. And then in those matchups, there's going to be a spell where you can make a good timing.
Yeah, a lot of the very good spells are costed at 2. The good counter spells cost 2. The some cheap creatures like Snapcaster or Tarmogoyf cost 2.
Yeah, Dark Confident.
Yes, you probably got basically there's almost no deck where it doesn't find a target.
So what is Luca doing now? He has a lot of options. He can tutor for something. He can play the Snapcaster as a blocker in general. Maybe set it up with a nice spell to get. Like if he tutors for, let's say, Lightning Bolt, maybe you can do something there, or an Impulse. like something that can be used, because right now he's kind of really restricted on the mana. He cannot play the Lightning Angel, therefore not really interacting with the Sulfur Elemental. Lightning Angel would be neat because now it hits for 4, but it can also not block the Elemental
And also can be
without
burned
dying.
down because it has -1 toughness. So
Yeah.
if Fabian has a lightning bolt or anything of the sort, it's just killable.
There's actually a lot of potential right now. If Fabian uses 2 counter spells, Mana Leak and Spell Snare, then Luca is somewhat tapped out, and then the Rebel Master deals 1 more. Luca goes to 11, and then there's 2 creatures and the Burst Lightning, which deals 4. It could go pretty fast.
Absolutely. There's a huge risk in tapping out at this point.
Which is somewhat ironic because.
Sorry, of course, Luca doesn't know what Fabian has, but Fabian still, because Luca hasn't played much, knows almost the entire contents of Luca's hand.
Yeah. So we see Snapcaster going for Ponder. That's a concession to the Mana Leak, concession to the just empty of the hand, but we know it's going to get Spell Snared. And yeah, Remand doesn't do anything against that.
He could remand his own Snapcaster.
Yes, exactly. And maybe that's going to happen right now. That's how desperate Lucas is at this times.
Yeah, he needs to dig deeper. He has a full grip, but this grip does too little. But does he really want to tap out against the threat of a Planeswalker or a good creature?
Yeah,
looks like he doesn't.
I feel like this hand would have been much smoother to play if you would have maybe mystical for a lightning bolt or something.
Yeah,
because
but are you ever happy to go down 1 card for a removal spell that hits 1?
Yeah, but then you can just play your Lightning Angel and reasonably attack.
Yeah, right. You're safe. You're getting insurance to not get wrecked by the backswing. It's true.
And you can also, it's nothing that costs to, well, of course he doesn't know about Snowstorm, but you can also use the mystical back with the Snapcaster to get a treasure cruise. Then you're even on the cards. You can get a Mystic Confluence, which is very powerful, especially in the late game. But right now, the problem is that he just takes damage for nothing really advancing on the board.
Yes, just staying back with the remand doesn't truly help.
Yeah, especially
remand gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. We might see it now that the remand gets used because of the Chandra, which would be really funny because then the remand actually didn't do anything and the Chandra would be on the battlefield. It's interesting how bad a card gets when your opponent knows about it.
Oh yeah, especially counter spells.
So yeah, he plays the Rebel Master, and that's really smart because he says like, okay, you can remand that, which you probably have to because the time is running out, but I would just play it again, and then it effectively did nothing.
Yeah, you just got yourself a card from the top of the deck and cost your opponent like 3 mana.
Yeah.
But that's it. The opponent is already on the board. But it's interesting. Why isn't he not recasting the Rebel Master?
Yeah, maybe he's afraid
of course, he wants to keep back the Mana Leak. Yeah, he knows about Lightning Angel, of course.
He also knows that the Mystical can get a Wrath effect at any time. So it's very smart to not commit enough.
Yes, he just baited out the counter and then he's happy with that.
Oh, then you have to counter the Mystical, basically. I wonder if Fabian would have done it because the Mystical can get the Supreme Verdict if it's in the deck list. At least on paper, like it can. Pia and Kieran Alar, that's a good card.
Yeah, that should get. Should it get countered? Do you need to counter that?
I
you know there's the Lightning Ranger still waiting.
Yeah, but you have an answer in 2 cards. You can Burst Lightning it or Chandra it. I think that's fair. Also, it's a bit telling the way Luca tapped because he didn't leave the Caracas open. So he's kind of displaying something that costs either red-blue or 2 blue. But here, Mana Leak, good decision. Good. In this instance, it's a very fitting card. And Luca sees like, oh, damn it. This is countered. Chain of Viper doesn't do anything. Mystical Tutor takes at least a turn to do something. All right. Untapping. And that's a Mystic Confluence.
Wow.
Hello, my friend. Yeah, that's a bad use of an unsummon here. No, that's...
But he has the 1 blue up for his Mystic Land of Turn. Did he?
No, because he had to float the both of the lands now. Because of the way he tapped, he had
he has to play it in pre-combat.
Oh, and that is really huge now, because now Fabian knows he could have committed a creature or two now, but now he knows what Luca's getting, and that's interesting. He says, I have none of it. You don't get your treasure cruise and play for cheap. I will counter that and draw 2 cards. Sad times.
Luca is falling behind farther and farther.
So, Islands and Lavamancer. I have a red mana open. How about a Lavamancer? Neat.
Fabian is spinning Luca around and around and around in circles, and like Luca's achieving nothing with his plays, while Fabian is steadily growing his hand size, still always committing to the board.
And there you can see the devastating power of knowing your opponent's hand. Exactly. This game would have been much different if Fabian wouldn't have known what's going on either. Maybe the Lightning Angel would have come into play early and everything would have fit so much smoother. But since Fabian knows how to sequence all the stuff and Luca's in the dark, it's... When I was building Highlander decks, more for fun, I said that Highlander started usually at 98 cards because all the decks had 1 Caracas and 1 Gitaxian Pro. And it shows. It shows. Both cards are very cheap and very effective in the way they're doing. Yeah, basically nothing to cost you.
Especially in a format where there are so many options for your opponent. There's so many cards. It's knowing what your opponent has exactly in his hand specifically is powerful and a really good effect.
Yeah. So how do we get out of this? This is a Lightning Angel. It attacks. Great. Finally something that can be on the battlefield. Fabian goes down to 11 already? No, to 14. Yeah. And the bolt just drawn hits the Lavamancer. All right, that looks promising.
But the Angel is not for long with the Chandra and the Burst Lightning in hand.
Yes. You think like maybe I can stay on the battlefield right now. Please, one time have nothing. Oh, we even have a sword gun. That's cool. Yeah, he's a bit restricted in the red mana. He would have loved to play maybe a Rebel Master here.
Yes, or flash in the Elemental again.
But yeah, he has to be just happy enough. Trinidad Nemesis, all right. You cannot answer that. But as I said before, now is the point where Trinidad Nemesis is on the battlefield, but you kind of have better game going on. You can play Sarkhan and attack for 4. And if the Trinidad Nemesis attacks, you can play Rebel Master and Elemental. So
yes. Fabian can just overwhelm Luca with the sheer number of cards in his hand.
Ooh, Brainstorm into Treasure Cruise.
Oh, and the fetch land. That's so powerful.
There is still the chance that Luca draws the combo piece. So as long as Fabian maybe is only considering having Burst Lightning for 2 damage, the Exarch could deal it, or the Village Bellringer. That could be one window of winning. And there's some cards, like if you draw a card draw spell, like Treasure Cruise could do some major work. Can have a Preordain that digs deeper. Not to forget that also Luca has some pretty important cards to draw. There's no counter spell, so maybe getting a Palace Jailer could help. So how is it going to go? So Chandra is making mana, and that's going to be Sarkhan. Sarkhan is turning into a dragon, and attack for 4. Zing. Luca goes down to 8. Oh, 8 is dangerously low.
Yeah, it could be that next turn with a burst lightning. It's really hard for Luca to pull himself out of this if Fabian plays carefully. Can he top deck it? Ah, no, he didn't.
I know what you can get with this.
He's just on 7 mana, so even if he finds some card draw spell, some manipulation spell, he's just behind
Yeah.
in mana so much that he cannot finish the combo.
And now it's actually enough damage. Just 3 from the Self-Elemental. Sarkhan deals 4. Burst Lightning in hand. Rebel Master would deal 1 more.
It's an embarrassment of riches for Fabian. He has it all. He can choose how he kills Luca.
Even with the backup. Yeah. Like I play Rebel Master. Oh, that didn't work. Well, then you get 4 from the Lightning. Wow. That was a grind. Beautiful.
Yes. They both played really well, but in the end, I think Luca draw a little worse, or I don't know if the matchup is a little worse. He finished the games with a combo piece in hand and never got to actually do anything with it in this certain matchup.
All right. How are we doing the last blow? Well, I have so much. Let's get more. Let's play Treasure Cruise.
It's like a cat playing with a mouse.
That's the revenge for the monarch.
Oh yeah.
I don't need the crown. I can play with you like this. Treasure Cruise? Yeah, sure. I'm dry.
Wow.
Okay, this is.
There's just a million ways to die for.
I think this is the time where you shuffle your hand and then you say draw 1, and then that's the way you die.
Yeah, every single card kills them. That's right.
Sarkhan and attack. Ah, look at this.
Oh, it's true. I wouldn't have seen that. That's good to know. You never stop to learn in Magic.
Well played, Lucas. Yes. All right. Well, that actually means he survived this turn.
That's true. Fabian played with his food a little too much.
Is there any Planeswalker that comes a creature?
Oh, can he still burst lightning him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, you tried. You get an A for effort, but an L for.
Does he slow roll it? He even slow rolls it. Okay.
Yeah, he goes for the upkeep.
Yes.
Well played. Nice match. Fabian advances to the finals. And you can see the finals. It's going to be Easy Control gegen 4-color midrange. See you soon.